Welcome to the Tomosi Business Training Series. The basis of these sessions is to support the Tomosi Group staff and management to raise their capabilities and performance. The series is also a platform to share our experience with young entrepreneurs, making an effort to build their startups in Uganda and across Africa.
Now, the last two principles for effective decision making that I want to share with you this week, they stem from the recognition that we always, as decision makers, we work with risk, we work with uncertainty, we often work with very limited information. So principle number one, first, any strategic decision to move your organization forward, or even to move yourself as an individual forward, is akin to surgery. We can liken it to surgery in a hospital. Any intervention into a situation that has been so settled for a long time, whether it's a type of behavior, a certain habit, a way to spend your money as an individual, a way to run an institution, a way to work, a way to recruit people, generally a way to manage life, all these interventions create an inevitable sense of shock in an organization if rapidly changed. By wanting to change them, the situation, the things I listed, by wanting to change them, one undermines the very culture that has been created, whether that culture is good or bad. One, therefore, must be prepared for resistance. You must move forward with the decision regardless of the resistance, even if it creates shock. Especially when you recognize that doing nothing simply degenerates what was a minor ailment into a terminal disease, and it will kill an organization. If an organization, just like an individual, is not growing and challenging themselves by hard decision making, they are slowly but surely dying. Surgery is needed. It is even interesting to me that the word organization starts with the prefix organ. The basic structure, the organ, is a basic structure in a human body that consists of two or more tissues in order for it to work. Say lungs, kidney and liver, they must produce a team that works together to make the body work perfectly. The Greeks call this organon. Organon, which is how you have your music instrument that produces a harmony of sound that appeals to senses and emotions. Remember, those of you who like music like me, it stores emotions, events, smells, many things. A song is played and you remember the year and where you are. Now, to perform surgery on an organization by decision making, there cannot be half journeys. There cannot be half surgeries. You do not remove half a cataract from a man's eye or half his appendix. No, when you do that, it leaves the patient worse off. We have to go the whole distance to create the necessary changes that will guarantee survival and growth tomorrow. A good decision is a basic ingredient of that surgical operation. A good decision is always based on the balance, you strike the balance between the benefits and whether they greatly outweigh the cost and the risk of that operation that you want to undertake. Second, hard decision making requires a keen sense of neutrality to avoid being colored by our own biases, because we carry lots of biases by our experience, by our history, by our culture. Now, here, the story of a Jewish king called David in the Bible. Those of you who read the Bible, this story is instructive to me when I read it again. In the second book of Kings, chapter 19, David's son, called Absalom, commits treason. He overthrows his father. But then Joab, the commander of the nation's forces, follows and kills Absalom. David, instead of praising the forces of the nation for ending the treasonous episode, David instead weeps for the son who had committed treason. The men who had ended treason are sort of shocked at the turn of events. They question in their minds, should we have abided by the laws of the land? Or should we have let the treason continue? Who are we working for? What should guide us as the army of the land? This is Joab and his team. For David, this was a very painful decision, because the line between a treasonous group and his being the father of the leader of the episode deeply colored decision-making capacities for David. Now, like any parent, one can understand David's very precarious situation when the state and family mix. Now, from a perspective of decision-making in this kind of situation, there is some reflection that this story should force on us, especially on why David was weeping. It seems to me, when I reflected on this situation of David, it seems to me that this situation with Absalom had festered for so long, and David had refused, quotes, to do surgery at his home and at an individual level. He had had terrible mistakes with Bathsheba. Those of you who read the Bible know that. Someone's wife that he had taken. It had led to the death of two other people. The husband of Bathsheba called Uriah. And the child had also died. Now, the child that came out of this fringe relationship also died. Then one of David's daughters, Tamar, was also raped by her brother Amnon. Too many things happening that needed surgery in the family. And now Absalom carries out a coup d'etat against his father. When I read this story again, I reflected. I thought perhaps David's weeping might not have been about Absalom. Rather, it was weeping over a series of actions that had made his administration at home very difficult, leading to this unfortunate consequence of Absalom. Parenting, ladies and gentlemen, is a very large decision-making laboratory for what eventually citizenship or a citizen, or what I call national collective values of a country should look like. When David's case is expanded to an institutional level, to a country level, it means neutrality in decision-making requires that we often have to act against ourselves, especially when the outcome of a situation that has festered for so long and has been conveniently ignored for so long, if the outcome doesn't favor our preferred opposition, we need to take a neutral stand. We cannot have our cake and eat it too, as the saying goes, as decision makers. We have very limited choices in hard decision making, and would be well advised to act in the best interest of the organization. Have a great week.
We would like to hear from you. Please email us at info@tapmedia.com and visit our website at www.tapmedia.com. You can also visit our offices located at Tomosi Business Park, Luzira, Port Bell Road, or call 0414-220-702. Thank you.